At 70, Rihanna's father, Ronald Fenty, has passed away. But what happened next stunned the entire world. This wasn't just another celebrity headline. It was a deeply emotional farewell that revealed a side of Rihanna we've never seen before. From a private hospital visit to a heartbreaking funeral tribute, she showed raw, unfiltered grief and forgiveness. She didn't just say goodbye, she sang to his soul. If you think you know Rihanna, think again. This story will move you, inspire you, and possibly change how you see family forever. The news didn't come from a press conference or an Instagram story. It leaked quietly through close family circles. Within hours, the internet erupted. Hashtags like R, IPRONAL, DFENTY, and PRAYFORRIHANA trended as fans and fellow celebrities sent love and condolences. But what made this moment so striking wasn't the headlines. It was Rihanna's reaction. She canceled every appearance, every meeting, and took a private flight to Barbados. Not for business, not for performance, but for something far more personal: to be by her father's side in his final days. For those who've followed Rihanna's rise from a small-town girl in Barbados to a global icon, the news of her father's passing came with more than just sadness. It came with shock. Not because he died, but because of how she responded. Rihanna's relationship with her father, Ronald Fenty, had been rocky for years. They faced public fallouts, long silences, and even a lawsuit when she accused him of exploiting her name without permission. At one point, it seemed their bond had been severed for good. But death has a way of shifting perspective. Ronald Fenty had been quietly battling a serious illness, something the public never knew. As his condition deteriorated, a nurse reached out to Rihanna's team. There was no hesitation. Rihanna immediately boarded a private plane to Barbados. Not for publicity, not for the cameras, just to be by her father's side. In the quiet, sterile air of a hospital room, miles away from flashing lights and red carpets, Rihanna sat beside the man who raised her. All the past pain, the conflict, the resentment, none of it mattered anymore. She held his hand. They spoke, they cried, and most importantly, they forgave. "I'm proud of you," Ronald whispered. "I'm sorry. I love you." In what would be their last shared moment, Rihanna sang to him a lullaby from her childhood. A soft, familiar tune that once made her feel safe. It was a full-circle moment. No music charts, no audience. Just a daughter returning to the place where love began. That night, Ronald Fenty passed away peacefully in his sleep. And Rihanna? She never left his side. In that hospital room, she wasn't a superstar. She was a daughter. And she said goodbye the only way she knew how: with love. 3 days later, the funeral was held in Barbados. It was a private ceremony, no press allowed, only close friends and family. But the world still gathered outside. Crowds lined the street near the chapel, hoping for a glimpse of the woman they knew as a powerhouse, now walking through unimaginable loss. Dressed in black with a lace veil covering her face, Rihanna arrived quietly. She clutched her brother's arm for support. Inside, the chapel was filled with silence and stillness. Among those in attendance were a few close friends: Melissa Ford, Jay-Z, Beyoncé, and members of Ronald's extended family. When it was time, Rihanna stood to speak. "We didn't always get it right," she began. "But you were my first home, my first rhythm, the first man I ever loved." She spoke about the good memories, beach days in Bridgetown, bike rides, laughter, but she didn't shy away from the pain. She talked about his battles with addiction, his mistakes, the emotional scars. "I watched you fight demons I couldn't understand," she said, "but I also watched you love me through it." Her words were raw, unfiltered, honest. It wasn't a perfect tribute. It was a real one. Before the casket was closed, she placed a handwritten letter inside, its contents known only to her. And then she sang again. This time, not just for her father, but for everyone in that room. She stood next to his casket and sang "Lift Me Up," the ballad she recorded for Black Panther, "Wakanda Forever." Her voice cracked with emotion. The lyrics, "Hold me down, keep me close, safe and sound," hit differently now. It wasn't a performance. It was a cry from the soul. Many in the chapel wept. Some held hands. Others bowed their heads in silent prayer. One person who attended whispered, "She didn't sing to us. She sang to his spirit." After the ceremony ended, Rihanna stayed behind. Alone, she sat by her father's grave as the sun dipped beneath the horizon. A single dove was released into the sky, symbolizing peace. She didn't say a word, but those who saw her said she left the cemetery a different person. Later that evening, she posted a simple black square to Instagram. No caption, no tags, no explanation. The world understood. And the internet lit up again, not with gossip, but with grief. Fans wrote messages of love. Celebrities like Cardi B and Lizzo shared tributes. "You've always been strong for everyone else," one message read. "Now let us be strong for you." For many fans, this moment marked a turning point, not just for Rihanna personally, but perhaps artistically as well. Rumors of a new album had been circulating, a comeback, a return to music. But all of that went silent. No updates, no announcements, and maybe that silence says everything. Rihanna didn't owe her father forgiveness. She didn't owe him a final tribute. But she gave it anyway. Because in the end, love isn't always clean or easy. It's often messy, painful, and complicated. But it's also powerful. In choosing to say goodbye the way she did, with compassion, vulnerability, and truth, Rihanna reminded the world of something far more important than fame or fortune. She reminded us what it means to be human. This wasn't just a funeral. It was the closing chapter of a long, complicated story between a father and daughter. A story filled with love, disappointment, estrangement, and finally, peace. As the days pass, the world will continue to wonder. Will Rihanna return to the spotlight? Will this grief shape the next chapter of her artistry? We don't know, but maybe that's the point. This moment wasn't about what comes next. It was about honoring what came before. And in doing that, Rihanna didn't just mourn a man. She forgave him. She honored him. And in front of the whole world, she let him go. Like, share, and subscribe for more videos. Thanks for watching.